And what I had watched before SummerSlam, I'd watched Unreal, which is the Netflix sort of documentary series. Pseudo documentary series.
I mean, good God. It's at best a celebration of Triple H's craft at the expense of the entire business. I mean,
absolutely.
Look what I do. Look what I do every day.
You will not come out of this, if you've never seen wrestling before, without thinking that Triple H might be one of the greatest men to ever live. Not only is he so clever and creative, and he runs this huge company, and he's always like in a car staring wistfully in the distance, he is also always there with a hug, a shake of the hand, and a pat on the back.
I know there's a lot of newfound fame. I know there's a lot of newfound excitement and all that stuff. I won't put a rocket on your ass. That's what I have planned between now and Mania. I won't put a rocket on your ass, but I need to know that rocket doesn't crash land. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can put it on.
If played right, we're just getting you started. So you're going to have everything you can want in life. I believe in you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you, honey. Yes,
sir.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you for those words.
Yes.
Got you.
I will say, like, inspirational talks from a weird, bearded father figure, they get tiring, but not to Triple H.
No,
he likes them.
He likes those inspirational kind of... it's like the high performance podcast, isn't it?
It is. And it's people will go out there and do a sort of 12-minute match, and they come in looking like they're going to burst into tears if they don't get his approval.
Yeah.
And then, especially like Rhea Ripley, he'll draw them in close, and he'll start whispering in their ears, just going... This is just the start. You're the biggest. You got this. You got. The thing I did like, something that's never really been revealed before, but WWE, it's like working in a garage in southeast London, where if you can put the word "fucking" into a sentence, they will put it in there. And whatever people are saying, they're like, I mean, the whole fucking crowd were fucking up on their fucking feet. Everyone says everything with loads of fucks in, and I was like, oh, that I do like.
It was interesting watching a writer's room, thinking, how did they write the writer's room scene? Who wrote the writer's room? That's what
I mean, the funny thing about the writer's room is you get the impression, you go, when I looked at it, I was like, I think they've hired in a lot of extras because there are people there who just sit there with slightly rheumy eyes, just looking like they haven't spoken in 3 months. And they're looking there nervously, all eyes fixed on Triple H, you know, the emperor of this. All very frightened, not just of him, but of saying something and him getting their attention. Yeah. And that thing of Triple H turning to him and going, "What did you say?" And them going,
I'm funny like what? But it's kind of
who the fuck do you think you're fucking talking to?
It just doesn't make a product better, does it? When I get this, that whole kind of documentary was just two men, The Rock and Triple H, in an editing booth with an avid jog shuttle going back and forth, and there were two, and Rock needed to go and have a lie down because he's not feeling very well, and so Triple H just finished it, and Triple H edited all the Rock stuff out and put more Triple H stuff in.
It's so. I mean, what the actual 5 episodes do, and they do have sort of like other storylines they put in. The return of Charlotte Flair. There's a brilliant bit with Chelsea Green where once again she is like the best professional wrestler on earth. You cannot watch Unreal and not come out of it going, Chelsea Green is like the perfect wrestling star. She is absolutely brilliant. What was so interesting about it? It tries to tell the story of the build-up to WrestleMania 41, which is effectively encompasses the heel turn of John Cena. And what they do is they tell an entirely fictionalized story that isn't what happened. There's nothing, basically Cody Rhodes had said he didn't want to work with The Rock, which was the angle that The Rock wanted. So The Rock had to stand back. They talked about the Cena heel turn.
If you say to me who said it first, I don't know.
And it was actually Bruce who said, what if we turn John Cena?
I don't know.
There's a really mental bit where they're like, the first people that Triple H contacts about John Cena turning heel are, he calls The Rock first, and then he calls, XYZ. And before he calls John Cena, he calls Travis Scott, the rapper. You're like, what the fuck's it got to do with him?
And I got to the end and he was like, wow, Man, I got to tell you, I think that's genius, like getting excited about it and like into it. My next conversation is with Travis Scott. I make sure Travis is comfortable with the creative. He loves it and says, let's do this.
But he's interesting because he's there watching kind of SummerSlam and seeing like Jelly Roll and people do well in that sphere, and then they've clearly just completely because the TKO guy is friends with Travis Scott, and I think that's why he was involved. But I just don't understand why. Like Jelly Roll showed that fans of the product can be good at the product during SummerSlam, but Travis Scott, no interest, just a friend of a rich bloke, gets fucking piled in because he does good numbers. And just ringing him.
It's just they never quite understood what he was going to do. What were we building up to with Travis Scott? He turns up at Elimination Chamber. He turns up at the Royal Rumble. He's there for the heel turn. He's there for Cena winning the title. Yeah. And then I think they fell out and he's gone. So it's just like, but what were you going to do with him? None of it makes sense. Yeah. They tell this fictionalized story to paint themselves in the best light, that they know exactly what's going on. It's even funnier now that the week it goes out, they're just like, everything we talked about in that terrible idea, we've totally changed it now, which was magic. I mean, they have decided, and it's a good thing to have done, they looked at the Cena thing and said, we've got like 4 months left with him. The heel run is not working. What is it? He seems like he's acting it. Nobody's really connecting with it. Everyone's just a bit like, oh, this is not the Cena that we want to see.
Yeah,
I feel like such a big heel turn to be over in 4 months is more of an admission this did not work.
Right,
And people do want to cheer John Cena. And it's easier to cheer John Cena than it is to sort of like judge him on his performances and things like that. You have with John Cena, you were just like, we're going to make him just a grumpy bloke who crosses his arms and goes, I'm not doing anything fun. And clearly that was just, it's only when they switched him back that you were like, God, what have we been doing? What on earth were we thinking? And I mean, but what I did like is the stuff that you saw, which was also about the nuts and bolts of how it works to some degree. And it was the backstage stuff that I found amazing. I mean, I would say it looked absolutely fucking terrible to be a WWE writer. I mean, you hear nightmare stories about it, but every time they'd cut to it, they'd show a shot and it was clearly like past midnight and empty building. And then second floor in this long, silent room with the moon outside. These people are sitting on these long tables, and there's Ed Koskey, who is the sort of head writer on one side, and Bruce Pritchard on the other. Triple H is sitting there drinking out of some massive sippy cup. And Ed Koskey would come up with ideas. Bruce Pritchard would go, that's pretty good. And Triple H would nod, repeat it, and then he's a creative genius. Ed Koskey looks like he is incapable of smiling. He looks like he's just a permanent state of unenjoyment as well. And what you get with Triple H is you just sort of, he's just sitting there hearing what the wrestling is going to be. And occasionally he goes, me like. Yeah, and it's just, you're just a fucking fan.
The man is
You're not watching it, you're hearing it.
The man has, I don't know how he lasted in this industry for such a long time, because he's just, he's got no razzle-dazzle in his soul. I just find him very, very underwhelming, and I don't know why. I know this isn't for wrestling fans necessarily, and obviously, you know, you'll get something out of it, I'll get something out of it, people will get something out of it. You know, just seeing how long the days are for the wrestlers. If they're not signing figurines, they're doing Make-A-Wish stuff, and they're not working with their, you know, they're practicing and stuff. It's a long, horrible job. It's basically saying to people who don't know that much about wrestling, it's actually quite hard work. And it sounds like they're kind of got an axe to grind, or a hammer to grind in Triple H's case. People have always said, you know, wrestling's fake. Well, it's predetermined, but it's not fake. Look at how hard we work at it. Look how physically demolished everyone is at the end of it. But it just, to anyone who knows any of the storylines, it just looks like complete and utter fantasy, a complete confection. It
does. And also what this does, which I think is the worst thing of all, is it does sideline the wrestlers. It says, this product is created by suits.
Yeah.
And it's made in boardrooms.
Yeah.
And Triple H is the best at the boardroom, and that's why he's so good at this. And wrestling is not about that. It's about the connection that people have with the crowd. And yes, you can put them in storylines, but the wrestlers are the key things to it. And there was no sense of why wrestlers are a special. It was just, you know who makes this happen? Businessmen.
Yeah.
Businessmen. And that was the thing that I did sort of find really unpleasant about it. I loved seeing the producers backstage, and I know they're more suits, but they're old former wrestlers. And you have Chris Park, who used to be Abyss in TNA, who is a big guy. And there's a wonderful scene where a match goes long and he is absolutely destroyed, and he's so worried that Bruce Pritchard is angry with him because it's gone over, and it's just constant scenes of him just going, are we okay, are we good, I tried, Bruce, I tried, you're not mad at me, you're not. And William Regal basically comes over and sort of
Shut up.
put a fucking sock in it. You know,
hey Chris,
Bruce, I'm sorry we went over. I know it was 2.5. But we cut out a bunch of shit. We cut out the Anaconda Vice, and
it was overwritten, it was overproduced, it was over everything else. It's fine. It was a great show.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Bruce.
Don't beat yourself up.
I'm not. I want to make this man happy, that's all. Is he mad at me?
No. Make me happy. You be happy with yourself.
I am.
Right.
and I was like,
fucking worm.
his passion, Chris Parks, for this compared to the guys who have been doing it all these years. And I would say with Bruce Pritchard did not turn around and go, you know, Chris, you've done a brilliant job, mate. You know, keep doing what you're doing. You're absolutely acing this. Bruce Pritchard's just sitting there with a little smile on his face, like going, silent. You know, and I was really, you horrible bloke. It was lovely to see that all the producers there as well. They are the guys from sort of the last decade and a half. And what's really interesting is they aren't the main eventers and they aren't the big stars. They by and large aren't even the big chaps. They're Jamie Noble and they're the Hurricane and TJ Wilson, and you see Nick Aldis at various points, and a lot of whom didn't even have WWE careers.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting how the smaller guys sort of get it better than the big guys. Big guys like The Undertaker. The Undertaker is never going to be a producer because he doesn't understand anything but a big man wrestling show. And those smaller guys, they are the sort of heart and soul of what wrestling is. And it's really good to see them having a bigger career post-wrestling than they did even when they were wrestling. And I was really pleased about that.
Yeah.
The best thing, though, is Michael Hayes. And I thought Michael Hayes came out of this show really well.
Not enough hairs. We needed more hairs, I think.
We did need more.
From what I saw.
Nobody at any point says, before we get into who this guy is, it looks absolutely berserk, right? Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. He looks like a big zoot-suited bear.
Yeah, he looks like an animated character. If they did a sort of 1970s era Addams Family and Cousin It came along, right? Don't worry about that. This
in
is
a big
normal
Buick,
for him.
pulling up in a big pink Buick.
Yeah, with like a big Daddy Roth pipes along the side. There was one bit that was wonderful, which is they managed to set him up through the series enough to make you notice he always had a hat on. He was always in a hat. And it was done enough that pretty much one of the final shots of the thing was Becky Lynch giving him a hug and she knocks his hat off him. And it revealed this absolutely massive, shining, bright pink bald head. And his hair, which is at the side and underneath the hat, makes it look like he's got all his hair.
Yeah.
He looks like Max fucking Wall. And it was absolutely brilliant. And he sort of scrabbles through his hat a bit. I think you see him once more in that episode and the hat is on wonkily. And it was like they were just like, we've unlocked it. He can't keep the hat on.
It's him banging on the edit dog like, can I just see the rushes for today, please?
When they saw her knock that off, the first thing they must have said was, we need shots establishing Becky Lynch is there. We need to put all that back in. You know, why? She's not actually relevant to because look at this. It was absolutely brilliant.
What a horrible life. Having to wear a hat at all times just to...
Yeah.
They're all sweaty.
I mean,
they're not good. Like, they're not wicking hats, are they? They just keep like a big warm pocket of air.
They're also hats that look like ones that you've bought on holiday and you do wear for the whole holiday, and they cost about $12 to 15 quid. But when you're wearing them like back at home, people are like, why are you wearing that holiday hat? And he's really got a holiday hat. He did say some things that really made me like Michael Hayes, I've got to say. He said, I think God gives me all my ideas. He said, because I'm not clever enough to come up with some of the stuff that comes out. And he does a lovely twinkly smile. And I did feel to myself, you know, a bit like, you know, the other producers. Hayes had a brief period where he was the biggest heel in the business, and he was absolutely the hugest star that you could possibly be. And then it went away and he never got it back again.
Yeah.
And if you could have told him in 87 when things are just slowing down, you haven't even had your big run yet, because your big run will happen in the 2020s. You know, I really liked him. He was the only one who had an avuncular twinkle in his eye. And occasionally you'd see him, they'd do a multiple Zoom call and he'd angled his laptop entirely wrongly and he looked like a cat that had come out of the rain. It was, this is Michael Hayes' greatest moment for me in years, and I loved it. Great big head. It was magic. But I keep on wanting to call it uncut. It's not
it's not, is it? Look,
Unreal. It was fucking unreal.
Do watch Unreal. It is a lot of old PR nonsense, but you do get to see I Shall Speed genuinely hurt. So it's if you enjoyed him being hurt at the Rumble, see him really hurt backstage.
Yeah. It is amazing. We talk about, you know, they tell you what you are and it's on you. They literally called a documentary show that is just absolutely fraudulent. They literally called it WWE Unreal. What don't you get? You know?
I know what this means to you, but hey, look at me. You're fucking CM Punk. You've always been a main event guy. Always. I know. Know that here. And now fucking go out there and do it. I know. It's just moving to me that you know too. I don't get here without you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for the opportunity. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you cannot do anything. Impossible is just something to do. It's everything I wanted since I wore Doc Martens in the ring because I couldn't afford wrestling boots. It was everything I wanted since I was a little kid. Saudi Arabia, shukran!